Mubarak Ajia, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum. Will someone be considered a student of knowledge by watching videos? For instance, watching the explanation of Sahih al-Bukhari.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The question comes from Dubai, UAE. Can somebody be considered a student of knowledge by watching videos? In brief, we answered this question many times before, and we've explained the proper philosophy that is needed for a person to be a quote-unquote student of knowledge. And the most important thing, if you ask me, for a person to be considered a student of knowledge or consider oneself a student of knowledge is not anything physical. It's the philosophy, the mind. What you consider yourself to be. A person who loves knowledge. A person who wishes to benefit from knowledge. A person who's willing to sacrifice to get that knowledge. Online, long distance, in person, whatever the case may be. Someone who is displeased with ignorance. Someone who's displeased with blind following. Someone who is displeased with being a tag-along. And someone who says, I'd rather be the head of a fly than the tail of an ox. I'd rather be the head of a flea, of a tick, than the tail of a whale. A huge mammal, the biggest mammal. The tail of that whale is of no comparison to the head of a flea. But at least it's a what? Head. It's not following. So this is the concept of being a talib al-ilm. Is that you are in love with knowledge, you love knowledge and you're in love with it. And you want to benefit, you want to learn, and you're displeased with ignorance. And you're displeased with not knowing. That's the first and the last and the most important aspect of being a student of knowledge. Where did you study? What sheikh gave you ijazah? Where did you learn? How good is your tajweed? What type of thobe you wear? How many pins you have? This and that. That is all secondary. That's all secondary. Everybody understand this? So if you're sitting in your living room, on your sofa, or as some brothers they say, I'm on a train, I'm on a plane watching Mufti Q&A or Hadith Disciple, 5 minutes of faida. If that's what you're doing and you're benefiting from what's being said, and you're learning and listening and studying, is that nothing to do with me? Whatever person you want to listen to, as long as they have ilm. From the ulama, from the mashayikh, from the tulab, from the du'at, whatever name or level or title they have. But you're actually benefiting wherever you are, and you're serious, and you're being honest with yourself, and you're actually learning, then inshallah you're a student of knowledge. And if you're in Saudi Arabia, in Medina, sitting in front of the sheikh, and he's talking, and your head is idle, your mind is idle, you're wondering, you're thinking about after the talk, I want to ask the sheikh a question about a brother back home, refuting him. Or I want to get married. Or my eyes are perfectly fine, but I'm going to wear glasses so I can look even more intelligent and the sisters can like me and say, oh, he's handsome, he looks smart, he's cute, he's this and that. And I wear a thobe just to be seen and heard and known by people. And when they ask me, what are your qualifications to teach and be the imam? Oh, Abdul Basir, he knows me. He's well known. I'm well known. Sheikh Abdul Basir knows me. He knows me. I visited him many times. He knows me. So therefore that qualifies me of being the imam of this masjid. Know for sure you're not a student of knowledge. If you graduate from Medina University College of Hadith and you're pleased with taqleed and being a follower and a tag along, the sheikh said and he said and our brother said and this one said, who didn't study, who knows nothing from the deen, you're not a student of knowledge even if you have a degree. And even if your thobe is as white as freshly fallen snow. No matter what type of Parker pen that you have in your pocket, no matter what you wear, you're not a student of knowledge. The body is nothing more than a shell. The mind and the soul is what moves the shell, what moves the crude flesh. How you look at life, how you think, how you operate, that's a student of knowledge. The process of me tells us, in the body is a lump of flesh. If the lump of flesh is solid, if it's thorough, that will be the case with the entire body. And the opposite is the what? Is the opposite. So it's very important. That's what being a student of knowledge is. So if you take knowledge serious and you learn systematically in front of a TV screen or a phone, inshallah, you're a student of knowledge. And if you're in person sitting with a scholar and you don't take knowledge seriously and you just want to, he said, she said, and this one and that one, then you're not a what? Student of knowledge. But the mental is not enough. Once you get in gear mentally, now you have to actually physically be a student of knowledge. Yes. If you can travel, travel. If you can sit directly, sit directly. Learn Arabic, learn tajweed, learn grammar, learn nahu, learn sarf, learn the mutun, learn the basics, build yourself, and physically put in years, put in work, and then be the you'll actually be a student of knowledge. But let's say you have a disability. Let's say a woman doesn't have a mahram. Let's say a person is too old for Medina University. Let's say I have a wife, I have kids, I can't do this, I can't do that. So at least let me benefit from the technology. At least let me benefit from the lectures and the classes of Bin Baz, of Uthaymeen, of this one, that one, that have been made into audio. Only Allah knows how many tapes I've listened to in my life. Not CDs, not MP3s, not YouTube, tapes, cassette tapes. Maybe some of the brothers may be too young for this. TDK, Sony, okay, tapes. And what that's right. Or you stuff the tissue in the top of the tape. Use a pen. Everybody understand this? To retape it. Everybody understand this? Allahu Alam. I'm trying to make a point here. I'm not boasting or bragging. I'm trying to say when I was in Medina and I was sitting with the ulama and mashaykh on a daily basis in my house, I listened to hundreds and thousands of tapes. So even though I never met Sheikh Bin Baz or Sheikh Al-Albani or this one or that one, I'm listening and I'm benefiting. And I'm learning. When I'm in my house, outside my house, in the car, walking, whatever I'm doing, I'm benefiting, I'm learning. So you can get knowledge from tapes. You can get knowledge from videos. But if you have the ability to do it the proper way, the tape will never, ever be enough. It's nothing like meeting someone in person. It's not like sitting with someone in person. Everybody understand this? However, last but not least, you being a student of knowledge and being a successful student of knowledge, it depends on many things. From them is Allah giving you tawfiq, giving you success and divine inspiration, divine guidance, and giving you strength and courage. And also what Allah gives you of natural talent and of natural intelligence. So you may find a brother who can read a book, who can listen to a tape, and he may memorize it quicker. He may understand it in a deeper sense. He may have a more thorough grasp than the one who sat with the ulama for 10 years. ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. That's the bounty of Allah. He gives it to whom He wills. But if you do have intelligence and you can be properly trained and nurtured, then that's obviously what? It's obviously better. There's some people that were self-taught and they gave all types of things to the ummah. And there's some people that were bred and they what? Didn't give that much to the ummah. So if you have the ability to do both, that's what you need to do. If you can't go and sit and study in person, then at least take advantage of the technology. Allah knows there was a time in which we had no iPads. There was no PDF. There was no Google the question. There was no Islam. There was none of that. You wanted to know something, you had to research it. When the computers and the Islamic software about the hadiths, when it came out, you had to carry a thick case of CDs. If you had one CD with Kutub al-Sitta on it, you were a lucky man. You consider yourself fortunate to have Kutub al-Sitta on one CD. Nowadays, you have a phone with 160 gigs. Everybody understand this? So take advantage of the technology. Wallahu alam.